What up, brethren? This humanist with attitude. I am Ario Laster, once again joined by Eric Wilkes. How you doing today, Eric?
Doing good. Just here to give my uninformed opinion on the stuff you want to talk about.
I
How
actually wanted to start off on a high note this time. Ayanna Pressley, Massachusetts representative, is working to lower the incarceration population. She's ending
which
the
is always a good thing.
Right. She's ending the cash bail system. She's ending the death penalty. She wants to end the death penalty. She wants to end minimum sentencing. But more importantly than all of that, she wants to decriminalize prostitution.
That's a definitely a good topic there. I don't see why it should be illegal. I think it would help out with alleviate other problems as well, dealing with sex crimes, rapes. People need an outlet.
Well, I think this is just my speculation, but I think the entire reason that prostitution's illegal is because it empowers women. It was a contributing factor in why women received the vote in Wyoming when we became a state.
Yeah. Well, that is the oldest profession, isn't it?
I
Technically.
think
I
that's what
mean,
they're saying.
yeah. So I don't know. It's just weird that we put such a stigma on it. Like in Holland or Amsterdam, it's perfectly legal, and they make sure that the women are clean and no diseases. They give them a protection. When guys can go to a place and have sex for money, it alleviates a lot of other type things. They can have a security guard there. Women aren't going to be getting raped and beaten up on the streets. Who spread less STDs by actually regulating it.
Well, Amsterdam,
You know,
it's decriminalized in Canada.
is
Yeah.
it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
that was a few years ago that they did that, and I mean, the fact that it's a crime in the first place is just appalling, and
yeah,
the fact that we are going so far as full nude strip clubs just as long as there's no alcohol, we're basically making brothels already in a sense, and along with pornography being legal, so it's okay to have sex for money as long as it's on film, but you can't do
yeah.
it. You can't do it unless you're filming it.
Just carry a camera around everywhere you go. You know. But yeah, I don't get it. I think the I think we probably, and I don't know the history, but we probably outlawed it um, around religions, or it's icky, and we want to around temperance, maybe when they banned alcohol, probably around those types of issues. But what it's created is, it's a crack epidemic, and we got pimps and hoes running around like. So I think we've caused more problems with making it illegal than we've actually done good. You know.
Well, one of
So
the
that's a
best
that's a good
ways to
push.
make something safe is to make it legal because then it can be regulated properly.
Well, there's no black market room for it anymore. So just like weed, you know, it's it pushes out a lot of the illegal things that accompany it.
But okay, on to the thing that I know you've been dying to talk about since you heard about it was the Ohio Student Religious Liberties Act.
Oh my, yes, that's a weird one. It's weird to reward a student for being wrong.
Well,
Well,
they
just because,
specifically stated that they can't reward or punish students based on answers given based on religious beliefs.
yeah, that's weird. Like, because if you say I believe in the Bible it says the Earth is flat. You go into a science classroom, and they're talking about the circumference of the Earth, and you're like, no, it's flat because my religious beliefs say so. And it's like, well, what do you do with that? You can't say, no, you're wrong, and here's why.
Well, the same thing goes for 90% of biology, since 90% of biology is based on evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowing people to not even learn. And I see a problem with this in the sense that evolution, people who think evolution is most likely, people who think that science has proven evolution to be most likely. If we were to go into a church and start telling their children that evolution is the truth, and this creationism that you're being taught is the lie, would the church
They'd
allow
freak
that?
out.
Yeah. And
No.
yeah, in church you're learning about theology. When you're in school, you're there to learn about school. You're there to learn about science. That way you can make an educated decision on your
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, and that's why it's separate, or it should be, and mostly has been separate. Education and, or at least the way we do it in school, you keep it separate. You go to church to learn stuff like that. But they definitely want to. Creationism is science, and is a just basically putting a lab coat on religion. Like
I think
they
you're
try to
referring
smuggle it
closer
in.
to intelligent design rather than creationism. I don't think there's any science behind pure creationism.
Yeah, no, I misspoke.
And intelligent
Yeah.
design at least has the pseudoscience going for it.
They're trying. At least they're trying. But it's disingenuous. But yeah, with have they passed that, or is it just in front of the
As far as I
Congress?
know, it's actually gone through and been passed.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see how it plays out and what kind of situations come out of this.
Well,
Like,
the
I mean, maybe nothing happens.
at best it's going to be a slippery slope. At worst, it's going to be a complete disaster.
Yeah. 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 All we can do is wait and see, I guess. Just like the presidency we got going on here.
Oh man.
Wait and see.
Did you know that he's considering testifying now?
I whispers of it, but I don't think they'll let it happen. Would you were his editor, would you put him on the stand?
Mr. President, you do realize that Bill Clinton was actually impeached for lying under oath, correct?
Yeah. And he can't help but lie.
I don't even think he
about
knows
everything.
what the truth looks
So-
like.
At this point, probably not. That's the thing about lying is, and as much as he lies, it's hard to keep track of all of them. That's why he contradicts himself so much, because he told this lie over here, forgot about that, and then told this lie over here. It's totally the opposite. So, yeah, it's interesting to watch. It's sad, but at least entertaining.
And I wanted to mention this today because it's the last day of Transgender Awareness Week, and they run these numbers once a year, and this year 331 trans people have been killed in the world, 30 of which in the United States.
That we know about.
Yes, I mean those are the ones that are reported. I mean Brazil's up there at 130.
Well, Brazil's ridiculous.
Well, why don't they? I mean, okay, I'm going to keep that aspect off of this show, but I think it's ironic that they have a giant monument of peace while they are murdering off people because who they choose to be or who they were born, how they were born.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's Brazil's an interesting case there.
And
I mean, I watch it.
Oh, go ahead.
I watch a lot of like police shooting videos for some reason. I follow this channel, the guy that breaks down police shootings, and but they all come from Brazil. Everyone, he's like, and now I have this video coming from, well, you guessed it, Brazil. Like, It's a crazy place to be, I
Are
think.
they just turning into the world's Florida?
Probably. I don't know what's going on with them. They had the Olympics, so they're doing you're doing good. You're doing something.
In other news, I mean, I know we've got the police brutality. I don't know if it's on a rise or not, or if it's just getting reported. If it's just getting reported and videotaped more. But
I
one
yeah, go ahead.
I honestly think it's just getting taped more, and we're becoming more aware of it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much because everybody's got a camera on their phone now. It's just like, alien abductions have gone up since we've all got cameras, or not abductions, but UFO sightings, and so yeah, it's a kind of different world, but it's always been bad. I mean, there's always been police brutality, so I don't know if it's more now. I think they're more militarized and kind of scared nowadays, I guess. They're a little bit more, I'm trying to think of the word for it. Not really scared, but just cautious.
Well,
So they'll shoot first.
they're getting a lot more defensive.
Yes. Yes, that's a good word for it. And yeah, they look like the military now, increasingly. They're all dressed in tactical gear, and not saying that's a problem, but it's kind of the evolution.
Well, in the UK, they actually they have bright vests and their cars are bright, and you can recognize them from half a
Yep.
mile away and know that you're dealing with the police officers. And here in America, most highway patrol cars are flat black.
Yeah. Yeah, they're trying to hide here. the In the UK, they want them visible, you know, and it's interesting to compare the two because they are very different in their tactics. UK, they don't carry guns. I mean, so they focus more on less lethal and physical contact, but here, a lot of times, it's just they're so defensive and cautious that it's shoot first, ask questions later, where they don't even have that option in the
Well,
UK.
there was a group home a couple of months ago that the incident happened, but the video was just released, where a quadruple amputee was when the video started. The cop had the amputee pinned, and this 16-year old disabled child is just yelling for the guy to get off him, and then he's sitting
Yeah,
there not showing any signs of resistance. Both of the kids get arrested, and then the video of the event doesn't happen until 2 months later.
yeah. I'm gonna have to look into that because I didn't hear about that. But why would you be restraining a quadriplegic?
Well, it
I
wasn't
don't
a
understand that.
it was a they were
Or
a
amputee.
quadrupling. Yeah, they were an amputee. They had their limbs removed, and
Yeah, what are you gonna put handcuffs on them?
I I I don't know. It just looked like the cop had him pinned when the video started, and then he's sitting
Yeah,
there yelling and threatening the kid. And it's like the police have absolutely no training in compassion or protocol.
uh, yeah. I mean, I think they could all use a lot more training, but it comes down to money and government. They're skimping pretty much everything. So you do get, especially certain departments and areas where they don't get very much training at all. Uh, it happens. Really comes to light with mental health when they're not trained to deal with somebody who's having a mental breakdown, or that's what I see a lot in like police shootings. A lot of times they're shooting people who are mentally disturbed, and they just don't know how to recognize it.
Well, there
You
was the
know.
one last year with the man who wasn't resisting, had his hands up, and shot. I believe it was either him or shot the autistic child he was caring for.
Yes, yes. The autistic guy had a toy truck in his hand or
Oh yeah,
something,
it
and they
was
were sitting
a
on the
guy.
curb,
I remember now.
and the social worker, black guy that was with him, they both, or he had his hands up, and they shot him. I think they were trying to shoot the disabled guy 'cause he had a gun with that truck, but ended up shooting the guy with his hands up. You know, not doing anything. So yeah, training is definitely key to helping uh, the problem. You know,
And
but getting that training, who knows?
I did get some more information. As a matter of fact, within the last week, there have been 3 shootings in California, and that one that was in Duncan, Oklahoma. Now the one
Yeah,
in Oklahoma, it was a double murder suicide, and it seemed to be a crime of romance. It wasn't like politically linked or anything like that.
yeah.
But I
No,
just gotta
I didn't
wonder
hear
why
about
people
that.
are going after WalMarts all the time.
Is what did it happen at Walmart?
Yeah, this was another Walmart shooting.
Huh. Well, I mean, where a lot of people gather, that's where shootings are going to happen. Not going after schools because that's where mass shootings happen. You know,
Well, actually, the
yeah, I've
uh,
seen a lot of stuff.
the one in
Hmm.
Thursday in California was in Santa Clarita at the Saugus High School. It was a 16 year
Yeah,
old, I believe. There were three killed, including the shooter for that one during that one.
yeah,
And then the Saturday it was a family murder suicide in San Diego. And then the next day there were 4 killed and 6 wounded at a football party in San Diego.
yeah. But see, most of that sounds like mental health. Maybe not the party, but there people who don't have problems mentally don't go into a school and shoot up everybody. That it just doesn't happen. They're mentally disturbed, and in one way or the other, there's multiple ways, but yeah, we have a mental health problem in this country, and we're not doing much about it. You know.
Well, that was that's on the list for the Medicare for All program is that mental health will be covered and people will have the psychiatric treatment that they need.
Yeah, yeah, we need that. I just went and talked to a shrink recently, last week. I mean, I had to pay for it, but people shouldn't be afraid to, reach out for stuff like that.
I was
You
going
know.
for several months weekly. It was a huge help to being able to look into myself and see and being
Yeah,
able to talk about it.
yeah. Talking helps, man. I've had some issues recently. I deal with anxiety and depression, and talking is very therapeutic. Just because even just saying it out loud or voicing the way you feel out loud helps you realize what's going on. A lot of times we don't introspect enough and why we do the things or feel the way we feel. So that's always healthy. You know?
Well, I'm just glad that this time it wasn't the tired video games or cause violent video games are causing people to kill each other argument.
Yeah,
We had that. What was it? 4 or 5 months ago, and the first thing
I mean that
the first thing that gets brought up is video games.
yeah, that's I don't know, that argument's never held too much weight with me. We've had violence on TV and movies, and even before video games were even a thing. I don't, I don't know. I don't see that as a major cause of it. Yeah, there's going to be a random guy that loves shooting people on Call of Duty that goes and shoots up a place, but that's not the that's going to be a rare thing, I think.
Well, I've got a friend who loves the most violent, and he went platinum on all 3 Dark Souls. And so this
Yeah.
guy has no problem with violence in video games, and he's never even been in a fight in his life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it usually goes. I mean, people don't like. I don't think a lot of people like the video games trying to put themselves in the character's shoes to just murder a bunch of people. I don't think that's really the motivation for most people playing video games. It might be, but I don't see it.
Well, I think, like for me, video games I consider to be therapeutic because it's a healthy escape from reality when used in moderation,
Yeah,
and it allows you to act in a world without actual consequence, but it allows you to get better at deciphering action and consequence.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, in a game, there's still a reality, and there's rules based on in the game. You know, so it is an escape from this reality, but you also have, you know, it's a different reality with different rules. So yeah, it can be a healthy escape. You just can't end up playing it 24/7 and
Not with that attitude.
get kicked out of work. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I used
I
to play a lot
actually.
of Fallout, but go
Oh,
ahead.
mine was always the Elder Scrolls series, but I think we're actually getting into we're actually starting to get into debate territory. So if you want to pick up on
Yeah,
this topic, we can go over to Church of the Neon Alliance later this week and start getting into some existential matters. Because I remember you saying that you wanted
sure.
to disagree with me.
I love disagreeing,
Well,
especially with somebody who we can actually talk, you know, calmly about it and discuss things. So I don't know. I like debate.
let's go ahead and schedule that for some time, and I'm going to cut this off here. I think we discussed
Cool.
everything, and we've gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten a lot of news out there. Hopefully, somebody gets to catch it, and we'll go ahead and
Yep.
get that. We'll go ahead and get the existential debate scheduled for later.
That's cool. I'm down. And I'm not like big in physics and I'm not all that knowledgeable, but I can hold my own a little bit. So yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
All right, Eric. Well, it was wonderful to talk to you, and I hope to have you on again sometime.
Yes, sir. Anytime. All right, man. Later.